Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I will be talking to you about the early Cobble season drama that's been going on. Very strange results so far this early season, and it's just been strange to see that Quickstep have not been great, BMC's not been great. Van Avermaet, he hasn't won either of the two early season Belgian races. That's been a real shock. And in general, the winners have been a bit surprising. I mean, Valgren won Omloop. In KBK, Groenewegen won, which isn't too much of a surprise, but maybe you expect at least a Quickstep victory or a BMC victory in those two races, but neither happened. So yeah, it was very interesting. A lot of surprising results as well. And I guess I'll also be recapping for you Abu Dhabi Tour along with the cobbles. So I'm gonna get started into Omloop, and in Omloop, they had a new route this year. It was not, I don't think it was as long as before, 196 Ks, but the route basically added some cobble sectors from Flanders, and it was just, nothing happened. I mean, there were attacks. I think Van Mark went on the attack a few times. Yeah, he did go on the attack a few times. He was really strong. Seb Van Mark, he finished third. Wisniewski beat him in the final sprint for second, but Seb Van Mark, I'm really happy to see him being back to what he was a few years ago, where he was really like in the league of Van Avermaet and Sagan's. So yeah, it seems like he's gone there, and he's got a lot of form. Looking at his climbs looking at those final few climbs in Omloop. So good on him. Valgren with the victory. I mean, Astana have just been blitzing the early season. There's been no stopping them. They've had Luis Leon Sanchez, Fuglsang, Lopez, Valgren, of course, just now. Litsenko's been a really big surprise. He's been riding like a freaking beast so far this year. I mean, he finished like, in the Abu Dhabi Tour, he finished like 3 times in the top 3, and that was really solid, but maybe we'll get to that later. So yeah, in Omloop, we saw the racing wasn't really, it was good, but there weren't those sort of big gaps that you come here to expect. There wasn't like one small group going to the finish. There was just one guy, and I mean, it was a very surprising win of Valgren. Very opportunistic move. I mean, Astana had the numbers, of course. They had like 3 people in that front group. It was 11 guys. I thought they'd make it to the finish and it'd be a sprint or something, but Astana, great move to put Valgren on the attack. A very big engine for that team, and Astana just continue their winning ways this season. Very good for him. Big surprise for second place. Wisniewski did a really good race. I think he managed to stay in that front group, and then he attacked just after Van Mark attacked and got over him in the final. And it was a really good showing from Wisniewski, but Sky in general were a bit absent. I mean, they had Owain Doull, so that's 2 really surprising top 15 results for them. Wisniewski and Doull aren't your typical Sky cobble specialists, I guess. Stannard, Rowe, all those guys, Kwiat, they weren't racing here, but in general, a really weird Omloop. Not the racing you'd expect, not the riders you do well, that would do well, that you would expect, but in the end, some decent racing. It wasn't the race it was last year, it wasn't the race it was a few years ago, but I mean, all in all, not a bad race, and Astana are just continuing to just make strides in this early season. Really good results for them. Next race was KBK, and in KBK, it wasn't too much of a shock. Groenewegen won in front of De Maar and Colbrelli. I mean, it pretty much went as it should have went. Those sort of guys. Groenewegen, big favourite coming into it with De Maar, and it didn't really surprise me at least. Wisniewski with another 8th, 2 top 10s though. He's doing really well to start the season. And yeah, pretty much what you'd expect. Nizzolo not doing as well as some people would have thought. But yeah, pretty big group, 60 or so guys making the finish. And yeah, I mean, the racing here was okay, I guess. Not really attacking, but waiting till the sprint like usually. I mean, last year Stuyven did get the solo victory, but this year not to be. This year's like most years where the sprinters get their way, and they did get their way this year. Groenewegen, good victory. He's been on fire this season, like 4 wins so far, something like that. Been really good from Dylan, and I guess we'll see more from him soon, because he looks like he could do well in the cobbles. Maybe not like some of the harder cobbles, but again, Wevelgem, he could do well there. So we'll see him there. And then the final, most recent race, I mean, it wasn't really high profile, but Les Salmon for 2018, it was won basically by Quickstep. Quickstep 1-2, not really surprising. You could see this from a mile away. Terpstra Gilbert, far too strong for the rest. Direct Energy also doing well. Petit and Godin doing well for them. And yeah, pretty much your normal sort of small Belgian cobbled classic result with Quickstep winning it. But yeah, what I've found from this early season cobble racing is it's pretty open this year. I mean, last year it was either Van Avermaet or Sagan. That was literally it. Quickstep couldn't do anything last year. But this year it's open. You see teams like Astana, Quickstep, some of the Pro Continental teams, maybe Direct Energy. I mean, Wout van Aert was very good in the climbs in Omloop. He looked really strong. He was in the top 10 and he got into the first group before they got caught on that stage. And yeah, so he was really good there. And that's another topic to discuss about Wout van Aert. His, I guess, switched from cyclocross to cycling. It's been pretty successful so far, that must be said. Very good in the cobbles. Not really surprising, thinking that Stybar was also a cyclocrosser who went to the cobbles, but very good results for him. And he's still young. He's still really young. He's got a lot to develop, and at this age, he's doing well. He's doing really well. Nothing taken away from him. He's just performing like he should, and he probably will get a contract next year with a bigger team. That's what I see for him. And then the final race, not the final race, I mean, I think Abu Dhabi Tour started before, but I'm just going to recap this anyways, because it was an interesting tour. Valverde, I mean, all the performers you'd expect to do well did do well, apart from maybe Izagirre and Saccharin, but not too much of a surprise. It is early season, and I mean, you expect Valverde to always be up there because he's Valverde, he's consistent, he's never going to stop being up there, so that's Valverde for you. But yeah, I mean, the time trial, I was really pleased to see this. Dennis was so strong, and I was like, I really thought he had the chance to finish top 3 in this race, maybe and win it if he got like the form he got into Renault last year, where he was very good in the time trial, and the team time trial, I think, there. And he just managed to win it, I think, so that was a good race from there, but he couldn't quite do it this year in Abu Dhabi Tour, where Valverde, Lopez, those sort of guys, Kelderman, they dominated on the final stage, Jebel Hafeet, the climbing stage, and yeah, I mean, Lopez on the climb, was it he that attacked? Yeah, he attacked, him and Valverde were attacking. Valverde made an unbelievable attack, like with like 2Ks to go, and he just, from the group of Alaphilippe, Mike and Kelderman, bridged to Lopez in like 200 meters. He just erased 10 seconds in 200 meters, which is pretty mind-blowing. So yeah, he's of course Alejandro Valverde in good form all the time. And yeah, I mean, Nicholas Egg performed well as a youngster. He was good. Tolhoek was good as well. I mean, the usual suspects elsewhere. I thought Micah could have done better. I wanted him to get a podium, but not quite. Maybe Woods should have done better. Of course, Dennis 23rd could have and should have done a lot better. But I mean, he was with Jon Izagirre as in his group, so I guess it can't be that bad. But yeah, in the Abu Dhabi Tour, those are the results. I mean, for the sprinters, I think Viviani won once. Bauhaus, that was a good victory for him. That was a really close sprint. This sprint was really close. I mean, you had Kittel, Ewan was in the perfect position, and then he just did not have the strength. Like, everyone who came late, Kittel came in like the last 50 meters, and he just flew past everyone. But Bauhaus, it was photo finish, really close. He did well to get that one. Greipel, of course, being good this early season as well. And yeah, I think Viviani, of course, I think he won stage 2. Was it him? Yeah, it was. So Viviani won stage 2. He's been great. His switch to Quickstep has really been great for him this year. He's won, I think he's won a stage in every stage race he's gone to, which is pretty amazing. And the first stage was won by Alexander Kristoff. Of course, him in the UAE is basically unstoppable, and you have to bet him for a stage in Abu Dhabi. So yeah, that's it. That's pretty much it. Ewan was a very disappointing this race in general. I think he probably should have won a stage, maybe gone another top 3, but as a fan of his, he didn't set the world on fire, but he wasn't awful at the same time. So I'm kind of relieved, but not really happy at the same time. So yeah, that was it. That was the news from the Cobbled Classics and the Abu Dhabi tour. And I think that's going to be it for this video. Please like, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.